Look at that, he didn't even know he was hooked. There we go. Hey, he isn't bad actually.
Hi, it's Constant Angler. I'm back on the mark you saw me on my last video. So sort of an old, new mark, a mark that I used to fish for a lot of other types of fish other than wrasse, and used to catch Ballan Wrasse on bait here. It's easy access for me. And today we've got a couple of rods with us. Both the Savage Gear SGS 6 rods, both 10 to 35 grams. One is 7'7" and one is 9'6". Either will do the job today. I'm just being flash. A couple of free rigs on each. 20-pound braid, Cascade Super Power on that. Interestingly, it's a thicker diameter than the new Berkeley 24-pound slick that I bought. Let's see. I mean, you should buy braid on diameters. Anyway, this is thinner, but will it have the robustness that this has for wrasse fishing? I suspect not, but I don't know. We'll soon find out, won't we? You need the toughest of lines when you're lure fishing for wrasse, as just for abrasion resistance, to be honest, and your leather grip's better on a thicker line anyway, I've found, when tying the FG knot. So yeah, we're going to start with two free rigs, one with a prawn lure, Zman Shrimpz lure, even that you'll have seen me use last time to catch effectively, and then I've got a Molix Sligozo there, a little beaver tail bait in Alberto Shad, I think, colour. Anyway, let's give it a go.
Right, so I've just realised that I forgot my net, so anything I get I'm going to have to walk in around and pull up a gully. That'll be fun, especially if it's something big. Smaller fish we can hand line up, but I'm not using bigger baits for bigger lures, so let's see. So there's your free rig. Here's the rig for the day. Let's show you there. I've got a 10-gram swivel bomb sort of shaped weight. It's important to have the swivel. This allows the weight to run freer on the line than a cone Texas rig. After that, I've got a jewellery bead on there. Don't always use them, but they do seem to catch me wrasse, especially in the winter. There's a little bit of shot or something in there and it rattles about. Now when that fills with water, I'm not sure if it will still do that, but it seems to work. It's not doing any harm. Then we've got the Zman Shrimpz rigged on a size 2.0 hook, I think that is at the moment. 1.0 will fit it nicely. We'll sit more in this bit here on into the tail section there, and the real interesting bit with it is that tail section. Now this is caught here already. The visibility isn't bad. They could be right under my feet, so we'll start there. Tighten the drag up. People always ask me how tight I set the drag. Well, I set the drag so that I can just about turn it with my hands like that. I don't want to be doing this because that beds it all in and pulls it into each other, but like that. So if I get a real good one and it's really going for it, it should give a bit, but other than that, it's pretty much locked up. I've debarbed the hooks as well. Just need to skin it a bit better there, I think. And what we'll do is we'll start from over there. You don't need to cast far to catch wrasse. You'll see me do it a lot, casting distances, because I like to cover more ground, but I can see down here there's enough visibility to see underwater rocks like this and fish around the edges of them. There's quite a few of them. There's these big boulders. If you look over that way a bit more, you can see what's happening. Less so at this point here. It's quite savage over there. There'll be some really big fish, but it's there's no one else down here on the mark today, and it's very slippy, and if I had an accident, I'm here on my Todd, aren't I, and I don't want to be in that situation. It's not very deep water, so I'm just twitching this lure, giving it a couple of twitches. I can feel the weight. Yeah, you do this with a Texas rig here. I'll just have a little flick around. Take the bail arm off, might help. That was a perfect cast as well. I'm just letting it, the weight will sink quicker than the lure because it's a big bulky lure, and I'm just going to dance it around there. And just hope. I so often drop it up and down again. But it's just little taps. You're just trying to imitate whatever creature you've got on the end of your lure there, the end of your line. Not making much sense there, I'm afraid. Doesn't seem to be much going on in close. I know those lures work, and I'm sure I would have had one if there was one big enough that fancied it. I'm deliberately fishing for bigger fish. So I've just cast long range parallel with the shore this time, covering some of that ground over there, because I had a couple of nice fish, one nice fish and some good bites over that way last time. Like I say, I don't know that much about the mark. I only fished it with lures once. But used to fish here for conger, whiting, the old codling, lots of dogfish in the winter. Dabs, if you cast far enough out, sandy enough. Coming over some really rough ground there now. This will be a really good test for this braid. Just say what I've got is a good length of leather, long enough that it sits about here in the rod eyes generally. I want that extra length because I might be able to lift a fish, or it's abrasion resistance really. If you see the sort of length of these rocks, you could be coming up and over that, and if your braid's rubbing against that, it's gonna go. So you need fluorocarbon to take the abrasion for you. Nothing so far. I'll put a beaver bait on in a minute, the Mollet Sligozo. So this shrimp and the Sligozo have caught me a few nice wrasse this year. Oh, that was a bite. Yeah, got one. Nice one by the look of it. Here we go, look at that then. Just near enough down on our feet. It's not huge, but it's a size, and you can see how much they pull. This rod is lovely for it. It's so nice and soft in the tip. He's not a huge fish, as you can see. And we're just going to walk him over this way. But yeah, good start. Give a bit more slack. I'm going to take it easy. Make sure I don't high stick it. There. Nice little Ballan. He actually nicked my lure. What a swine. They're difficult to get out of those. And he was hooked up. Sort of on the outside really, but there you go. What a start. Let's pop him back in here. See him go. Off he goes down the gully. So, we're off the mark. All is not lost when you've left your landing net behind. Well, what we'll do immediately is switch across to the other rod and try one of these, and we'll try it off to the left this time. But yeah, there you go. Oh, there's my lure. Damn, if I had my net, I could get it back, couldn't I? So there's a little difference with this free rig. If you're fishing the free rig, and I think this is an experiment at the moment, this is a bit too loose, but the principle, you'll see the principle I'm working on here. If you fish the free rig, when the weight sinks, you let it sink on a slack line, especially if you're casting any sort of distance, and the weight will, because it's more aerodynamic than a Texas rig, it will shoot straight down. And the bulkier and more cumbersome, the more appendages and flatter your lure is, depending on the profile of the lure, the more friction it creates, and the further behind it will be left by the lead. So you get separation from the lure, the lead from the lure. And in this case, it's a beaver bait, and it will sort of ripple on down, I would imagine, or maybe twist a bit. Various baits do different things. You can use any bait on it, but creature baits are particularly good on them. You might have something with flapping crawls, and they'll flap as they go down. So you're getting this separation. So you're sort of fishing like a Carolina rig then. Now, if you're fishing deep water, you don't want too long, do you? You want the bait down near the bottom. So my thinking is this is a no trace bead, chod bead from Corder. My thinking is I can set the depth by moving that so far away from the lead, and I can control the distance of the lure from the lead. It's, as you see then, moving way too quick. I'm even going to take that bead off. You can just pop them off. my fluorocarbon thick enough. They obviously use thicker fluorocarbon on there. But yeah, that was my idea. So just an ordinary sort of float stop would do the trick. So this is a lot shorter. All of a sudden it feels kind of weird, to be honest. Now I've been using the longer rod for so much, and I'm just underarm flicking that out. You could do this with bait casters. You'll see me do this with bait casters. This is new line, or recently spooled on here anyway. Do bigger hops, let it drop, you'll get that separation. But you can just fish it the same, I thought I felt something then, as a Texas rig. So you can do your normal hops, you know, shorter hops. You got the option to vary it and get that separation back whenever you want. And that's why I like it. And it doesn't snag any more than a Texas rig, at least not that I've found. If you had that bead up above, you could, and you had a lot of tall kelp, which you can get various marks of the fish, particularly in the warmer months. You can pull that bead all the way down, up, and butt the lead up against your bead, your bottom bead, the bead between your hook and your lure, and then you effectively have a Texas rig, a Jika rig. Right, okay. A lot of winter fishing is more flipping and pitching for me, because you need the accuracy. They hold right up, and you've got to keep it in their face a bit longer. So we've got some separation with the bait there as we dropped it. You know, even flipping and pitching, you'll get more separation than with a Texas rig. You do get it with a Texas rig. Got a tight line there at a minute. We've obviously dropped in a little hole. Come on, you wrasse. Oh, what was that? Obviously, a bite closer to you will really transmit up the rod, and it's going to be hit and hold. So it's winter, I've had one. You know, that's what winter fishing can be like. It's not really cold yet, so I would expect more. It's just finding them. Those Zman Shrimpz are super reliable baits. Might have to put another one on. I think I got one more. I can find the one I did have. It's floated in close. Watch it don't get cut off. Tide's making. Oh, I think I got one. Yeah, I got fish. Look at that, he didn't even know he was hooked. There we go. Hey, it isn't bad actually. It's not a big one, but it's about the size of the last one, maybe a little bit bigger. Similar size actually. So they're just flipping around my feet. Let's bring him around here. Just film him nicely. We're not doing much to catch these fish. Nothing radical. You don't need to. You could just stick a Texas rig on. It's possibly a little smaller than the last one, but beautiful colours. There we go. What we want is one about. And the bigger lures are definitely picking up bigger fish. Always about the same size as the last one. How beautiful is that? Let's go up here where we can put him in a rock pool, safely unhook him. There we go. Right. We can film him nicely. So, if I lean against this, you can see how well he's hooked right in the bottom lip and at the bottom of the chin. Oh, he's a slimy one, this one. Some of them are slimier than others, but I mean, look at that. Look at that stunning fish. Not bad size. And all I'm going to do is just leave him in that rock pool. He'll recover in there, and the tide's coming in, so he'll get to. You see, push that bait right up. We'll actually put him back straight away, because I think he's. We don't want to stress him. If I can grab him low and not drop him. Keep him low. He's a little dazed. If we go over here, then I can just pop him in there, and he's gone out there. He's a little confused to leave in the rock pool. There's bigger wrasse here, I'm sure of it. It's perfect ground for them. This is my ideal sort of ground. I've got deeper water to my right, so I can try at the deeper water if the water's colder. I've got shallow water to the left. It's a bit like you'll see me do some carp fishing as well. It's a bit like carp fishing. I like spots in the sun in the winter where there's some deep water but shallow margins, and you'll see the carp come in from the deeper water where they've been holed up at night and come into the margins where the sun's just warming up that water a little bit more. They want stable water, so you know that's even more important in the sea than in a lake, because you're going to get swell and you know easterly winds bash in here. So my theory is, ground like this, we've got some rocks out there probably. They'll drop out to the deeper areas of rock, and that over there it's slightly deeper where they're not going to get bashed around so much. So how's it going so far? So I had a couple of wrasse, can't complain. It's December, it's nearly Christmas, and I've got a couple of wrasse in the bag, just flicking around. One to the Moloch Sligozo in a Bertel shad, I think the colour's called, or something like that. And one to the Zman Shrimpz with the luminous tail. A reasonable stamp, £1.5, £2, not bad. Couple of other nibbles, losing some gear, that kind of thing, but not exceedingly high levels. You will lose gear when wrasse fishing. So, but if you learn to tie an FG knot, you don't have to do it a full Rizzuto finish if you don't want. You'll see on my channel, if you look at my back catalogue, it's quite a while ago now, that I use an FG knot, and excuse me, you want to bite the last little bit of roughed up fluorocarbon off. That's £15 fluorocarbon on there to onto the braid. I use a series of reef knots, and what I mean by that is a granny knot tied over and under, and then one under and over, if you know what I mean. It'll show you in the video there, and that does it for the majority of my fishing. So when I get a snag like that and I'm not going to be able to get out of it, it will snap down by the hook, and I'm still left with a leather. I'm not tying an FG knot on the back, which isn't the easiest thing to do for anybody, you know, wind and things like that. There's the FG knot, see if it will focus. There's a slight tag end on there. It's about 20 odd turns wraps when I do it, and that should last lots of trips. So you see how long that leather is. Now I forgot my net today, so that's particularly important, but it's more of a rubbing leather than anything, and if you have to lift a fish, if you forgot your net, it gives you more of a chance, because this thin braid here, supposedly £23 and 0.13 millimeters thick, I think it was, the Berkeley slick, you know, that's going to get cut through. There's arguments about that, but believe me, it does on this kind of rock. You need that rubbing leather of fluorocarbon or mono. You can use mono if you want. So because all I've lost, you know, I've lost the weight, a bead and a hook, I'll just slide another weight on, another bead on, one knot for a hook, stick a lure, and I'm fishing again. So I hope you can see me then. I've got a bit close then. So yeah, that's how easy it is if you learn to tie that FG knot. If you tie a uni knot, it's bulkier, you get caught in your small rod rings that we seem to have these days. You feel it rattle on through, and eventually that will wear it and it will snap. But it's not got the knot strength that an FG knot has. Learn to tie the FG knot. It's not that hard once you practice it and you've got it the first time, then you'll be able to replicate it. And that will save you lots of tackle. With a uni knot, I'd have lost several sets already. Hope that helps.